I'll do this Uber Eats thing on the EUC, and I found on the EUC you can make way more money than on a scooter because you don't have to park it. Just that alone is putting you up like 20-30% on top of what you can make on the scooter. It's just the time equals money. Like, I could be rich if I could work Uber Eats in the city with a fast wheel. Not rich, but I could make like 300 a day, no worries. I made, like the other day, for example, look, this has got to be the gnarliest hole I've ever seen in my life. Look at that. You see? I don't know if you can tell, but it's like, it goes in and there's just a spike, a metal spike. It's kind of blunt, but still, if you ran that over at speed, all that's left is to sharpen it, and then it'll destroy you. So that's what I got, guys. I said I was saving up for a V12, and that's what I got instead. What do you reckon? And you're probably thinking, what the hell am I doing? See, I've been using this thing, right? And I'll just tell you how much this costed. 1,800 Australian, so it's less in US dollars. This thing costed 1,100. 1,100. Oh, and guys, I've got beats in the scooter, by the way, look. See? So this big van costed 1,100 bucks. But it uses so much petrol, guys. That's why I said, nah, I've got to do something about this. Just the other day, I did a shift. I had only made $92 and I'd already spent 25 in petrol because I knew exactly how much petrol I had. See, I had a full tank, made 92 bucks, filled it back up, and it was $25, guys, out of 92. That's like, it's madness. It's super hot today, by the way. It's like 40 degrees Celsius. And the scooter is going to use like $2 of petrol, right? So even though what I was doing before, I was using the van in conjunction with the EUC, right? I had the EUC in the back here, and it was kind of working out good. Like, it was really good actually. I like the way it was working out because you're on the EUC, for example, and you get tired, and by the time you get tired, you chuck it in the van and just continue in the van, and you feel like it's like a luxury, you know? You're just sitting there, you appreciate the van. But it also works vice versa. If you do all day in the van, like if you do a whole shift in the van, that gets tiring in its own way. It gets really stressful. It's like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. You bust out the EUC and you're like starting fresh. It's like, dude, this is awesome. You know, you're riding, you know, it's fun to ride, but you appreciate it much more after doing a whole day in the van, right? And it works vice versa. So I'm like going from one to the other, you know, I'm always fresh basically. It's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know how I can explain that, but it's like starting a new day almost, you know? You go from the van to the EUC and it's like, bang, I'm starting again. You know, I've got all the energy I need. And it's the same the other way around. But the petrol, guys, it was just getting so much. Like, this is a good way to explain it. Like, when I made that 92 bucks, I reckon I kept going. I got up to like 120, let's say. And then it was like, in total, I don't know, let's say $32 of petrol. And then I was like figuring it out. I was like, all right, so I've made 120, but I've spent 30 on petrol, so I've only made 90, right? And just thinking about that, it was like, dude, that was hard work too. I was like, dude, I did all that work for 90 bucks. And then when I did the same on the EUC, I did like a quick cruise. Like, it just felt like a few cruises. I don't know how many trips it was, but by the time I looked at my app, I was up to $106. And the EUC, of course, uses no gas, so that's all going in my pocket basically. You know, except tax. But the point is, well, the tax is irrelevant because it applies in this as well. So my point is, it was so much easier to make money on the EUC, and it's mainly because of parking. I reckon we'll see how we go on this thing. But I've got this now, and I'm gonna save a ton in petrol. I'm gonna save like, what the hell is that noise? What the fuck is this? Dude, I hate this phone does shit by itself while it's in my pocket, because it's got one of those like screens that it's meant to make life easier, right? And it just screws you over all the time. But yeah, I'm gonna save so much in petrol. So my plan is to like use this a lot less. I'll still use it. I'll like just drive out to an area with my EUC and then like just use the EUC. But aside from that, it's going to be just this, and I reckon this will pay for itself very quickly too. Probably like, or maybe not that quickly. The petrol I'm saving in that is probably like $600 a month, so it'll pay for itself in 3 months. But the cool thing is, guys, I made all the money I needed to buy this on the wheel, basically. You know, I did some in the van, but that bold tire, guys, that bold tire I've been running on for like ever now, it just goes on and on. Like, it's so bold, it can't get any bolder. So I figure, you know, if it's good now, it's got to be good in the foreseeable future. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I didn't even check the tread on these. Oh, it's good. Look at that, looking good. But yeah, that bold tire, guys, is something. Alright guys, I want to explain something quick. I didn't buy the scooter because of that hole. So I showed you that crazy hole in the ground, in the road. And after watching that, and then the next clip, you might have thought, oh, he bought a scooter because the roads are too bad. But that's not the reason, guys. I bought the scooter just because it's going to pay for itself, right? And you know I've had trouble with the law, so I can't just ride my EUC and just go balls to the wall on the streets, through the mall, on my feet. I can't do that, guys. I gotta basically watch my back at every corner. And I gotta slow down very often, like when I'm on a long trip, because I'm signed up as a car. I'm doing this Uber thing as a car. And when I'm on the wheel, I often need to go walking speed because I don't know what's around the corner. I don't know if cops or what cops are going to be there. And I've been past a few cops already and it's been fine. Quite a few actually on my EUC. And it's been alright, but you just never know. So it kind of sucks. I hate the stress of having to worry all the time. And now on this scooter, it's awesome. I can just go to all spots. For example, on my EUC, I limit myself to certain areas where I know the cops are good. But in the city, for example, there's that cop, that particular cop, who hates these things. And the city is where most of the Uber Eats business is at. So that's the place to be to make the most money. And that's why I bought the scooter, guys. Just so I could hit those areas up and save all that money on gas. Because I found myself, like in the van, for example, I've got my EUC in the back of the van. I'll go out and do some trips. And then I find myself heading to the city anyway. And then when I get a job around the city, I just end up doing it all in the van because I'm like scared to bust out the wheel and cruise around. And in doing that, I use like $30, $40 in petrol. It's crazy. So if you work it out, in 10 days, that's $300, $400, right? It's going to pay for itself in no time. The scooter I paid $1,800 for, and that's a bit high. It's really good though. It's a good little, it's only 2 years old. I think it's 2019 model. It's got Bluetooth. It's a pretty awesome little scooter. It's got that back box thing as well already on it. You know, the thing you can store stuff in. And yeah, I'm happy with it. It's worked out good. But don't worry, guys. I'm gonna still do EUC stuff, and I'll do this Uber Eats thing on the EUC. And I found on the EUC you can make way more money than on a scooter, because you don't have to park it. Just that alone is putting you up like 20-30% on top of what you can make on the scooter. It's just the time. Time equals money. It's simple as that. And it's not just parking as well. It's all kinds of time you save in traffic. Just being able to jump on the footpath anytime you want, you know, and just cruise like a pedestrian. That is just, man, it's such an advantage in the city. Anywhere, really. But in the city, it would be, like, I could be rich if I could work Uber Eats in the city with a fast wheel. Not rich, but I could make, like, 300 a day. No worries. I made, like, the other day, for example, I won't show you in this video, but soon I'll show you my earnings. And I've had days where I've made 250 or like 240. But like I say, if I could do it unrestricted on the wheel, I could easily make over 300 every day. So yeah, it would be an awesome job. But anyway, we'll leave it till the next one, guys. Peace.